Next on Tider Insider TV, it's finally here. Football season is upon us. An update on practices coming up. Plus, we'll finally have an opportunity to hear from Alabama's new offensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin. That and more right now, only here on WVUA TV on TI TV. Stay with us.
Go inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV with Rodney Orr and Carrie Harris.
It is one of the most anticipated days of the year for fans, and it happened this past Sunday. Alabama Fan Day. As you can see, the race was on. The fans cutting across the freshly laid sod at Bryant-Denny Stadium to try to get in line first for Nick Saban and Alabama players and get the autographs. And it was a big success, and hopefully, in fact, we can tell you no one did get trampled in the process, so all is well that ends well. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Tider Insider TV, presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock, alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. I'm Gary Harris, and Rodney, Pepsi Cola tonight on the agenda. It was hot out there practice this afternoon, by the way, and I've been I think I've been a little thirsty ever since then, so let me take care of that right now. Bigger swallow than usual.
I didn't see our friend Joseph running.
That's good.
Did you?
He was walking.
Oh, okay.
I saw Joseph. Joseph was walking across the field. But you know what? It is a special day because we've been talking about it leading up to it, but it's officially here. Fall camp opened on Friday. Today, the first day in full pads. Alabama's getting ready for a game. The Crimson Tide had Fan Day on Sunday. Hundreds of fans participated, and we were able to get we're able to get autographs from Coach Nick Saban and players after watching an open practice. That's the only one of the fall. That's out of the way now, and Coach is busy getting ready for West Virginia, and he wants the players to get better with each practice and buy in to what they need to do in order to improve.
Players sometimes think that I'm going out here to practice, and if I can just get this right, all right, I got it. But really, you don't practice to get it right. You practice to do it so many times you can't get it wrong. That's what we're trying to do with our players so that we develop the habits that we need so that we can play with the kind of consistency and execution that it takes to be successful.
Another big event on Sunday was the podium debut of Lane Kiffin. Months after his hiring, we were finally able to hear from the ex-Southern Cal and Tennessee head coach. He admitted to making mistakes in the past, but said he's ready to move forward with Alabama, and was especially complimentary of his new boss, one Nick Saban.
I just always want to be learning and growing, and I can't imagine a better place in the NFL or in college to go to learn from someone who's been so successful, and someone that teaches his coaches. It's one thing to go to a successful head coach that really doesn't have a lot of meetings and he just kind of runs his own deal. Coach Saban teaches his coaches every single day about what he wants, the way he expects things to be done, how you can improve, and he helps his coaches grow, which is why he said so many assistant coaches go on to be so successful.
Some news items from the beginning of fall camp. Coach Saban announcing the suspension of 3 talented defensive players. Brandon Ivory, returning starter at nose tackle, highly sought after junior college defensive lineman Jaron Reed, and pass rushing outside linebacker Tim Williams, due to a violation of team rules. No word on how long they'll be held out of practice, but they are missing valuable time. Well, also a much heralded member of the class of 2014 signing class, Bo Scarborough, failed to qualify in time to enroll. Nick Saban says he was very close to getting into school. Alabama plans an appeal and hopes to have him enrolled in January. Either way, Bo Scarborough won't be in uniform for the Tide this fall. Rodney, another practice in the books today, and let's discuss where the Tide is right now in camp. And of course, today was full pads, and we were out there for the viewing period, 15 or 20 minutes or so, and you could see it from the standpoint of the adrenaline, the players being a little amped up when they get the full gear on.
Yeah, you really could, Gary. And again, that's what football's about. You know, it's about full pads, and I thought, you know, Alabama really had a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion out there today. You know, certainly the heat didn't seem to slow them down or make them sluggish while we were out there, and I thought the coaches had ramped it up a notch or two themselves.
You know, they always say you can't tell a football player until you put the gear on, but number 74 right there, He looks like a football player.
Yes, he
Cam
does.
Robinson, when you're in line to start as a true freshman at left tackle at Alabama, you got to be pretty special.
Yeah, and he is. That's why he was the #1 left tackle in the country last year coming out of high school, West Monroe, Louisiana. And, you know, Gary, he came in. I've said all along, I thought the big thing for Cam Robinson, this was from the very beginning, I said that I thought the big thing was getting him here and going through spring practice. I thought that was vital. He made a lot of progress. He learned a lot. Now he's coming to fall camp. He's shown a lot of improvement.
Players had some help staying cool. Trainer Jeff Allen putting the water hoses on them. We saw number 4, Eddie Jackson, and number 33, Trey DePriest. That's positive news. Both were in full contact Crimson jerseys today, which means they're cleared to practice at full speed.
Yeah, and again, Coach Saban talked about Eddie Jackson a little bit, thought that today, he thought that he's certainly done a really good job in terms of his rehab. And, you know, Gary, when he's exactly going to be ready to play remains to be seen. Trey DePriest shouldn't be out much longer.
All right, the quarterbacks. Coach Saban, high praise for Cooper Bateman today after practice. We know about Sims, we know about Coker, but Cooper Bateman is factoring in.
Yep. And again, he was asked about, you know, what kind of progress Cooper Bateman, the redshirt freshman, had made, and he thought that he'd made dramatic improvement. I mean, that's something to hear from Nick Saban, that, you know, the word dramatic improvement. But, you know, again, I think, Gary, when you look at him, the things that he did in spring practice, he really looked good. I thought he had a great A-Day game through the winning touchdown pass. He made plays when he had to, and I think, you know, Coach Saban just said it's just a matter of consistency. Of course, he has Blake Sims. He also has, you know, Jacob Coker here to compete with as far as right now, the present. But, you know, when you look down the road, Cooper Bateman is certainly showing a lot of promise.
One final quick question before we move on to recruiting. Do you expect Coach Saban to wait until the Monday before the West Virginia game to announce a starter?
You know, I would think so. That's pretty much standard procedure, I would think. At this point, I would think that, you know, and again, I say this, I still think that no matter what, both guys will have a role. That's just my opinion, no matter who wins the job. And I will say this, too, in post-practice, I thought Coach Saban made an interesting comment today, Gary. He said that the offense is really making a lot of explosive plays early on in practice, that they're really showing a lot of maturity, and that when the quarterbacks do a good job, that the offense is showing a lot of potential. So I thought that was really good news.
That is good to hear. Coach Saban always says, we want more explosive plays. That's why I brought Lane Kiffin in here to get them. All right, recruiting news since last Tuesday to talk about. Alabama received its 21st commitment for the 2015 class. Rico McGraw from Nashville, Tennessee, a defensive back, flipped from Georgia to Alabama, and that's not surprising, really, but talk about what this young man brings to the table.
Well, first of all, obviously he's an outstanding athlete. Gary's recruited by a lot of schools across the country, from Nashville, Innsworth, one of the top high school programs in the state of Tennessee. And he's a guy that has a lot of versatility. He's an outstanding offensive player as a slot receiver. They line him up at tailback sometimes, but where he's going to play at Alabama, he'll be a secondary guy. He's a guy that can play, nickel back. He could probably play safety, even cornerback. It just depends on, how they see him fitting in once he gets here. But, he's a guy that has a lot of versatility. And he's probably, actually, that shows 180. He's probably closer to 200 pounds.
Alabama really loading up on secondary guys again.
Yeah, they are. They have 6 committed right now, Gary. And again, there's a lot of spots, a lot of need for that, especially at safety. You talk about the guys that they're losing at safety, with Nick Perry, Jarek Williams definitely leaving, possibly Landon Collins, which we would expect to go early to the NFL at this point. If that happens, you need more guys. And right now they have really 3 top safeties, as well as Rico McGraw, who could play safety, committed.
All right, good stuff. Much more on the way on TITV. A little later on, we'll check in on an Alabama alum, or several of them, in the NFL. Next, it's an honor for an all-time Alabama great. Plus, we'll sit down with Audrey Taylor of the Alabama Alumni Association to discuss a special event for you Tide fans. You'll definitely want to stick around to hear about that. And coming up, we're welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. You see the information on the screen on how you can get in touch with us, 205-348 WVUA, that's 348-9882. Email us, TITV at WVUATV.com, or reach out to us on Twitter. BJ Milliken loves those tweets. Hashtag Tider Insider TV. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide, the one, the only Tider Insider TV, presented by Buffalo Rock. The Miami Dolphins announced this past weekend the newest members of their Walk of Fame. Former Alabama running back Tony Nathan was among the honorees. He started 2 Super Bowls for the Dolphins and, of course, won a national championship with the Crimson Tide in 1978. And I tell you, remember that play against the Chargers and that great playoff game in 1981, the throwback to Nathan in one of the most incredible games of all time. He was a great player at Alabama and in the NFL. All right, joining me now to talk about a very special Kickoff event is Audrey Taylor, who's the president-elect of the Tuscaloosa County chapter of the Alabama Alumni Association. Good to have you, Audrey.
Appreciate you having me, Gary.
And you are here for a big event. The Tuscaloosa County Fall Kickoff Party, sponsored by the Alabama Credit Union, is coming up, I think, a week from this Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
At the Zone here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Tell us what all is on tap.
August 14th, like Gary said, the Thursday after next, we have a pretty epic kickoff event.
Right.
It's to kick off the athletic year. It's to kick off the academic year. On tap, we have Big Al, the cheerleaders, the $1 Million Band, to lead kind of a pep rally. We'll have food here from Who's Q. Get there while food lasts. We'll have trivia, and of course, our guest speaker is Bill Battle.
Yeah, how about that?
It's going to be pretty awesome. We also have a few other coaches on tap to come in and mingle and sign autographs, pass out schedules, and we also have just the atmosphere being in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what this is for in just a moment because it really is important. But you mentioned the fun aspect, and we want people to understand that. Get your tickets because we heard about Bill Battle being the guest speaker. There are going to be all kinds of door prizes, and the grand prize will be a pair of football season tickets to the lucky winner. There's the information on the screen, but you want people to come out and really get in the football spirit. Kickoff's right around the corner. This is going to be about having fun first and foremost.
Absolutely, definitely having fun, but more so it's about the scholarships. Our Tuscaloosa County Alumni Chapter functions, our purpose is basically to raise money for scholarships. Last year we were able to award over $80,000 in scholarships. So every dime that comes in, we put straight towards Tuscaloosa County scholarships.
Yeah, I want to mention that again. 100% of the money received for chapter membership goes to support endowed scholarships, as Andre just said. $80,000 plus in scholarships last year to local students. So it's fun, it's football, but it's also for a very good cause. Once again, tell us where, when, and how to get tickets.
August 14th, Thursday, August 14th. You can get your tickets in advance at the Alabama Credit Union. They're $10 in advance and they're $15 at the door. North zone of the Bryant-Denny Stadium from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have parking at Calvary Baptist Church, and we'll have shuttles taking you to and from the event. Parking will also be available around the building.
And Coach Battle hit the ground running. He has not done that many speaking engagements. So for a lot of people, this may be your first opportunity to hear Coach Battle speak. So get those tickets now. Support the Tuscaloosa County chapter of the Alabama Alumni Association. Thank you, Andre.
Appreciate you,
Look
Gary.
forward to seeing you a week from Thursday night.
Thank you.
All right, more Tighter Insider TV is on the way. Next, we'll talk about how A.J. McCarron's future in Cincinnati may have gotten a little bit darker. His opportunity may be a while coming. And next, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Again, the information on the screen on how you can get in touch with us. Interact with Tighter Insider TV right now. We'll be back after this. Great news for Andy Dalton, not the best news for A.J. McCarron. The Bengals starting quarterback was signed to a 6-year extension worth $115 million. A.J., the rookie backup, may be waiting for a while in Cincinnati, but you never know. A lot of things can happen, and after 2 years, the Bengals could still get out of that extension if they choose to do so. So A.J.'s just going to have to be patient, apply his trade, and wait for his opportunity. All right, Rod, you ready to take some phone calls? They're lined up for us tonight. Let's get right to it on our Med Center hotline. Let's talk with John Michael, who is joining us on the telephone from Moundville. Hey, John Michael, what's going on, man? John Michael, you there? All right, I think we'll be having some issues. We're on a tape delay here, so if you don't turn your television down, you're going to have some problems, so turn your television down, please. But he wanted to talk about Lane Kiffin, as so many people do. I don't know exactly what his thoughts were on Kiffin. We couldn't get his question, but I was impressed with what I saw from him on Sunday. He's here to go to work. He's not worried about what happened in the past. He wants to get the job done at Alabama. I can tell that much.
Oh, absolutely. And I thought, again, the post-practice comments from Coach Saban today, it sounds like that maybe already making an impact with the offense, the explosive plays they're making, and that's one of the areas, again, that's been an emphasis. And, we've talked about his development of quarterbacks. Now is really important, Gary, with an inexperienced quarterback. I mean, this is probably a great opportunity for him to show what he can do in terms of that, because, we remember what he did with Jonathan Crompton and the progress that he made in 2009 at Tennessee. And Alabama's in a situation now with inexperienced guys, Blake Sims, Jacob Coker, whoever it might be, that they need to perform at a high level. And I think with Lane Kiffin here, he can certainly help them develop.
All right, we didn't have any luck with John Michael in Manville. Let's try John Max in Cordova. Hey, John Max, are you there?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my question is who is going to be the starting wide receivers, and who do you think the best, your opinion, who's going to be the starting quarterback?
Okay, John Max, good questions. The receivers, I'll let Rodney chime in on the quarterback. I can just about tell you the receiving core is going to be Kristen Jones, Amari Cooper, and DeAndre White. In all probability, those will be the first three out there. Wouldn't you agree with that, Rodney?
Yeah. And actually, Coach Saban did comment today on some of the younger guys. Gary pointed out our Darius Stewart, Robert Foster, Chris Black. Some of those guys have certainly made a lot of progress.
And at quarterback, we've kind of already discussed it, but I think that everybody's getting a fair look right now. I really do.
Yeah. Again, I think it's really early. People jump to conclusions. I mean, and some of them base it on what they saw, Sunday at Fan Day. I think it's really too early to jump to conclusions. Certainly, there's a competition going on, guys battling for that spot. But it's probably either going to be Jacob Coker or Blake Sims. I think that's safe to say. And which one has the edge right now? I don't know that either one does.
I'll go out on a limb. I'll say Coker takes the first snap, but Blake Sims plays by the third series.
And if I had to guess, I'd probably agree.
All right, we'll see. It'll be interesting. All right, let's real quickly talk to our buddy BT in Tuscaloosa. BT, what's going on, man?
How about GH? How about you?
No, I'm great. I'm great, brother. What you got?
Gary, and Rodney, my status is on Eddie Jackson. Is he limited to what he can do, or what's his status back from injury?
All right, BT. Well, Rodney and I were both surprised to see him out there last Friday, to be honest with you, and then today he's in a crimson jersey.
Yeah.
So pretty good progress right there.
Yeah, he's made a lot of progress. Again, he can do the things. Coach Saban even talked about him after practice today as well, BT, and he said, functionally he can do everything he needs to do, but he's not really 100% yet. He couldn't really make a prediction on when he would be ready to play, but he has certainly done a great job on his rehab. And Gary, I know there was a lot of people that doubted he would return this year, but it looks like he's well on his way at some point.
Yeah, knee surgery in the spring, back practicing in August. Amazing. All right, more Tider Insider TV is coming up after the break. We'll check in on one of the hottest pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he hails from Tuscaloosa. And coming up, more of your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Again, the information on the screen right there. Remember, give us a call, and if you would, turn your television down. It'd be a lot easier to talk to us. We'll be right back with the show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide, Tider Insider TV. Stay with us. It's been quite a run for Tuscaloosa's David Robertson, the closer with the New York Yankees. The former Bama star saved his last 4 opportunities, including a 3-game stretch. He now has 30 saves and 32 chances. That's good for second in the American League. And you know what? As fate would have it, he's also a free agent after this season. So he stands to get a big raise, whether it's with the Yankees or someone else. D-Rob getting it done in the Big Apple. All right, let's go right back to the Med Center hotline and talk with Bill, who joins us from Birmingham. Hey, Bill, what's going on? Bill, you there? All right, Bill wanted to know about Reuben Foster and the kind of progress he's making at inside linebacker.
I think he's making great progress, Gary. It sure seems that way anyway. And, we know about his potential. He's an outstanding player. He's a really what they call a thumper inside. He's really physical. And I think that this is the year we're going to see Reuben step up and make a significant contribution. He really needs to, because they're thin inside. Trey DePriest has been down a little bit the last few days, and I said it won't be long till he's back. He's obviously back, but I don't know that he's 100% yet. But he is practicing. But Reggie Ragland's done an outstanding job. So I think you'll have DePriest inside, and probably with either Reuben or Ragland, those guys will both play a lot, and we'll go from there.
And the freshman Sean Dion Hamilton impressive
as well. Good. It looks good. Ryan Anderson may have an opportunity to crack inside. Play inside a little bit more. So we'll see. Some
inexperience, but a lot of physical talent. All right, let's try John in Bessemer. John, you with us?
Gary, what's going on,
man?
Hey,
brother, what's up?
Hey, man, I want to know about our defense. I want to know how our how we're recruiting doing later.
No, I'm kind of confused.
Recruiting on defense. How's recruiting going on defense?
Well, recruiting on defense is going really well. We talked about the secondary guys that they've recruited. They've got 6 top secondary guys. I think they probably still need to get some defensive linemen. They've got a couple committed, and we'll see how it progresses, Gary. But I think that when you look at it, Alabama's going to have another great year. Recruiting defensive players, and they're going to get some more linebackers, and so again, another top class.
Sort of like a broken record.
Yep.
All right, let's get an email in, Rod. This one comes to us from Philip and Calera. Tell us about Bama's kickers and what we can expect. Well, we got to see him on Sunday during the open practice. Let's start with J.K. Scott, the punter, because he caught my eye. He boomed a few.
He really did. You know, he kicked it. He's from Denver, Colorado, so a lot of people wonder about that altitude and how it helps the distance on kicks. And he told me when I talked to him before he reported that it really didn't help it that much. Well, obviously he was correct, because the other day I think I measured one at 58 yards in the air and one close to 55 in the air. So he certainly showed some promise as far as the place kicking. We really haven't seen. We didn't get an opportunity Sunday to see the place kicking. Haven't seen any at practice really. So it's really hard to make a judgment. But I would say this: I think the scrimmages will probably give us some sort of an indication which direction it's going.
All right.
And we know about Adam Griffith. He's the guy that's the leading candidate.
I think Griffith's going to do a great job. All right, we're back to wrap up this week's version of TITV. Don't forget, you can catch anything you missed by watching the replay tonight at 10:30. Plus, we'll have it posted later at WVUATV.com. Stay with us. We're coming back. We'll check in on Rolando McClain at Cowboys camp right after this. To say there have been plenty of ups and downs for Rolando McClain in his professional football career would be an understatement. But now, trying to make a comeback with the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys coaches are high on him. But you got to remember, he hasn't played in nearly 2 years, a lack of conditioning catching up with him. He's battling hamstring and quad injuries, and that could hold him out of Thursday night's preseason opener against the San Diego Chargers. Still, though, Jerry Jones is high on him and says he's not surprised that he's having some muscle issues because he has not played football in a couple of years. All right, that's going to do it for the program. I want to apologize to a couple of our callers. I understand we were having some phone line issues. It wasn't on your end. We'll try to get that fixed for next week. For Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for watching Tighter Insider TV, and we'll see you again next week. Good night, everybody.